Greetings, welcome to Shieldrumrecords. Today a review about the FILTRO 4-pole VCF filter from Benidub. 4-pole VCF filter means it's 24 dB per octave cutoff. Multimode filter means you have low pass, high pass or band pass plus. Band pass plus means you still have the dry signal and you can add till plus 10 dB of the band pass according to the position of the cutoff. You have also a LFO section with LFO depth, LFO rate, and a multiplier of this LFO rate, a tap tempo for sync it, or a manual mode. It means at each tap here, we will switch randomly the cutoff position. But for the moment, we will forget about the LFO and just listen to the filter without resonance and a bit of resonance. So let's go for an example. Of course, on this device, all switches are noiseless. No click, no beep, nothing. Listen. Bit of resonance. Okay, and for the BANDPASS plus, you have to set the effect on bypass, and then you will crank up the frequency boost. So, okay. In this user case, it's more on sound system when you do a selection to cut off your bass or to tune. For example, let's go on another track. And with the band pass, we can search in the track the weakest part and try to compensate with the band pass. Let's try something. So now let's talk about the LFO. We have a LFO which can command the cutoff position only. And we have two banks of LFO waveform, the bank A and the bank B. And we access those banks via this switch. Okay. We have also the possibility of syncing this LFO via the tap tempo or the LFO rate knob. Okay. And another detail, the LFO depth position is like bipolar. What I mean by bipolar, if for a setted frequency cutoff, when we crank up the LFO depth, it will work, this knob, on the left and on the right of the position set. Okay, this is why we call bipolar. If it was unipolar, we would go with the LFO depth only from the position to the right. Okay, or from the position only to the left. But here it is bipolar. So bipolar, LFO depth, and resonance. So let's play a bit to see how the LFO tweak the cutoff. So we are on A, position A, and first waveform is like a descendant sawtooth. So for example, you could set like it and put on the bypass to have a kind of wah-wah. See the multiplier position 1 is here, and we can have the half of this position or twice this position, 1.5 or 3. Okay, and you can also set the tempo very long. Let's try something and change our waveform to ascendant sawtooth. 1, 3, 1, 3. So okay, and we can slow it down by twice. Okay, now what we will see, we will go through each of those waveform and on the music. So for a better example, we should use like WhiteNoise or things like that. It's very interesting because all those waveform, imagine you send some WhiteNoise with the resonancy and everything, you can do very great special effect. The square wave is interesting when we get the tempo set and more quick. Let's try something. You hear? So it will on and off the bass. And then come back on this. Or the opposite. Classic sign. Okay, and now one of my favorites is a random. So last position on bank A is the random. We just heard the random. And when we switch it on the same position, it's written manual, okay? And manual make this tap tempo like a trigger. It will trigger at each tap, it will trigger a random value, okay? So let's try this mode. I will crank up the LFO depth so we hear. And for it to be more obvious, we will put it on a high pass, for example. So you see, that way you can imitate like classic passive filter behavior. You can imitate, I don't say you can do the same because it's random value. But I find out with the LFO depth not too big and well-selected frequency, we can imitate it. So let's try again with the bypass bandpass plus. Okay, so you see. Another thing interesting, it is that when you are on the random, so let's say we are on A. Okay, it goes random, crazy. Okay, we hear it well. When we will switch to the B bank, it will freeze where the position was at. Okay? Let's try again. I will speed up the random. So it will freeze it and it will stay it as long as I tap here because I'm in manual mode and I will switch it once again. So you can play a lot with this switch and this random and this manual to have those kind of effect recalling the old school dub from the King Tubby era. I will keep the example of the WhiteNoise for the last part of this video. Now we will talk in the case of plugging the filter into the desk, but in parallel mode. For the moment, you have the music which go into the filter, okay, just this signal. But you can also use it in addition to your dry signal, in the same fashion that when you use it with the bypass mode. If you remember, when we use the bypass mode, we are in bandpass, okay, and we can select a frequency. So this parallel filtering will be in 2 episodes. So the first one as it is, and most of the time when we work like that, we will select or the high pass or the low pass, because the bypass mode gives us the dry signal, and we don't need the dry signal because we already have it on a track. So here on this track, second track, I have the return of this filter. The output of this filter is going here. So let's set it as a high pass. I drop it. On the right of my desk, I have the dry signal. So I will send it and add a bit of high pass. I would use this technique when I need emphasis or frequency on a bus, a drum bus, or a group of effects. So let's try it again, and we will change the filter and try with the LFO also. dry in low pass too. So this first one is parallel filter. Normal parallel filter, it means sending the group into the filter and you have the track of the filter adding to the dry signal. Now, second episode is reverse polarity parallel filtering. So what it is about? It talks about the polarity and the phase of this track, okay, of the output of the filter. So I have my dry signal here. I have some symmetrical mini jack, okay? So I come from the direct out of the filter output. I come from this direct out and I go back into another channel. And my other channel for this example is here. You can see filtro and here filtro with a symbol of reverse in phase or polarity. What this will bring the possibility of a parallel reverse phase filtering. To give you an example, to explain you quickly, if you addition a bandpass reversed in phase with the original dry signal, you will have a cancellation, a notch deep at this precise frequency. Imagine I'm at 500 or 600 here. If I add reversed in phase of this filter with my dry signal, at 600 it will make a notch and not a reduction of the frequency. If you want just a reduction, you have to go a bit lower than the unity gain. Let me explain you how I set it. For example, let's just send some music into the filter and add the two signals out of this filter, the normal phase and the out of phase, and you will see what happens. So let's cut also the LFO, the resonancy. We don't need all of that for the moment. Okay, and let's say in bypass. Okay. So now I will bring up the volume of the same filter reverse in phase. Listen to the volume of the music. We hear clearly that it cancels everything. It cancels quasi everything. Okay? So I'm around 8 on my knob, and if I go a bit above, the sound come back. Okay? The sound come back because the volume of this come above the unity gain, and the reverse phase signal come over the dry normal phase signal. That's why it come again more loud if we go too far. Okay, if I go back, we have this. Okay, when it cancels the most of your frequency, it means you are at unity gain, addition of the normal and reverse phase. Okay, and when you go below this point of unity gain, volume come back again. Okay, so let me watch onto the LED, the view meters, and I will tell you how many dB reduction we have from here to here. So quickly, here we are at 0, and the cancellation bring down all the volume to -21 on my view meter. So it's a big reduction. Okay, so the concept here, it was to calibrate the original track and the return of the reverse phase track. Okay, now we know it's set up. We can remove the normal phase signal from the mix. Okay, I remove also the reverse phase from the mix. Now I bring the dry signal on my right. Okay, so this track don't go into the mix, just on to go into the direct output. Let's bring this bypass. Okay, so we have less cancellation than between those two copies. Now we have a reduction -12, -9, but it's okay. Okay, it's full band cancelling. Let's try things now. Let's bring some resonancy and a slow LFO. When you will select the low pass, the addition of the signal dry and the signal reverse in phase will make it sound like a high pass into your ear. And when you will be into high pass mode, the addition of the two signals will make it sound as if it is a low pass into your ear, okay? We are in high pass, and you hear the sound? Let me switch low pass. And for you to get it, I'll switch off the reverse phase, and I switch on the normal phase. Okay, here, low pass, adding more low, logical. I switch it off from the mix and I switch the reverse phase. Okay, so for me, I think that reverse phase technique is one of the most fundamental techniques in dub and effect tweaking, because you can go very, very far. This is just an introduction with this filter. And I came to this technique because some years ago, I had just a high pass filter, a passive high pass, and couldn't get the low pass sounding. With all effects, you will have some crazy result. For example, with a phaser, with a compressor, it's enormous too, because when you reverse phase the output of a compressor, it will behave the opposite, so it will become a very great gate expander and with more tweakability than a classic gate expander with two knobs. So remember, reverse phase and parallel filtering. I think that's all. I could go deeper, but I hope this will give you some courage to dig into whatever filter you have in plugin or in hardware, and find those tips. Sometimes it's very close to simple things like reverse phase things. Last part for this filter review, we will send some WhiteNoise into the filter and read the several LFO shapes. Send the noise. So that's bypass. So descendant sawtooth, ascendant sawtooth, square, sine, a kind of dome for the next, then a reverse dome, okay, and the last one for the bank A is a random. Okay, and the next one. As I said a bit earlier, each tap chooses a random position of the cutoff, depending on the LFO depth here. So let's go through bank B. We have a double sawtooth, descendant sawtooth. So let me slow. So a first long one and a small one at the end. And some pretty crazy now. Okay, the next one is a bit the same, but with some square at the start. Okay, now this one. A bit slower. So we have a small bump and a higher bump at the end. Next one. Small bump at the start and higher bump at the end. Start. Let's start again the noise for the two last. If we put this slow, it's like some wind. Hardcore wind. Okay, and the last one, the manual. So yes, it's a good source for also special effect or sounding effect.